Vice Principal Sister Mercy, and all dear friends. I am Muralidhar Patel going to present analysis on NEP 2020. This NEP has announced 29th of July 2020 under the chairmanship of Professor K. Kasturirangan, who is the former chairman of ISRO. My group name is St. Thomasia, going to present analysis on this NEP. So before starting my presentation, I would like to introduce them. Before presentation, I Muralidhar Patel.
I Ankur Jain.
I Sonia Rajput. I Mrs. Neeta Srivastava.
I Shifa Khan.
And I Mrs. Lakshmi Patel. Welcome all of you. So our St. Thomas group are going to analyze this policy in a both way. Next.
I would like to tell you some key points of this NEP, and I would like to relate you around previous education policies. So first education policy came in force in 1968 and second one came in 1986. I would like to tell you some major points of previous education policy 1986. There was common education structure, that was 10 plus 2 plus 3 recommended by Kothari Commission 1964 to 1966. 3 language formula, women empowerment, child-centered education, vocational education as well as special education. This NEP has divided 4 main parts. Part 1 is education, school education. Part 2 is higher education. Part 3 is other key areas of focus, finance and implementations. Next.
First of all, we will talk about school education. There was still pattern of school education 10 plus 2, in which children class and student will study. But again, the gap is looking in between the government student and student those who are studying in private school. Because our government is thinking to give the pre-primary education in the Anganwadi. So in the Anganwadi, as you know, there are very less workers, those who are able to teach and those who are able to read and write properly. So how can they teach for the how can they able to give the pre-primary education? So it is very tough. If government wants to achieve this goal, then one well-trained, well-educated teacher will be hired in the Anganwadi. Then it is good and it is possible in the Anganwadi. Then it is good and it is possible.
Next, strategic features of this NEP 2020. This NEP has suggested some features which are reintegrating dropouts and access participation in free and compulsory education, school education for all children age group of 3 to 18 years. Achieve 100% GR, means gross enrollment ratio for all grades, mainly 9 to 12 grades of school education. Creating effective school infrastructure. So this NEP has suggested to make school infrastructure very alluring or attractive, that will affect the student by their own. And next is ensuring security, especially for girls students, by hiring security guard. There must be female guard. Free education and compulsory. So RT is the free and compulsory education. School education will be the part of RT 2009. Now, I would like to tell you some crucial point of this NEP. These are the bring 2 crore out of school children back into the mainstream through the open schooling system. So, open schooling system has suggested by this NEP 2020. Next.
Board exams for grade 10th and 12th will be continued. What? They will be low state. It It means like 10th class student take 2 subjects according to their percentage. But after coming this policy, this system will be changed. Here, anyone take any subject after completing their 10th class. It is focused only for students' knowledge and their concepts. Here, pattern will be changed. Student will get a second chance in a year. It means exam will be conducted twice in a year to improve their score. Student will be able to choose many of the subjects and the levels which they take board exams. Those students face a problem in maths and they don't want to make a career in maths field. So they take a basic level of maths to improve their score. In class 11th and 12th, student takes like maths, commerce, art subjects. But after coming this policy, this system is totally changed. Student take their subjects according to their knowledge, and there will be no hard subjects. In class 11th and 12th, students like streams like maths, science, art, there will be no hard separations among circular or subjects. Here anyone take any subjects. If you want to study physics, chemistry, with history or political science, then you will study all together. Here is a big change to give a same preference to vocational subject like sport, arts, etc. Next. Now we are discussing about gross enrollment ratio goals for 2035. Before explaining this, I want to give one example. Suppose in a district there are 1000 children, those who are 3 years old, and they are able to admit in primary school. But out of 1000 students, there are 900 students, those who admitted in primary school. It means what is the level of primary school? Primary level school is 90%. Means gross enrollment ratio of primary is 90%. And it become a less in middle section, higher section, and higher secondary section. With the help of this, we can see in a secondary school there is a target of the 100% of this NEP. What current position is 56.5% for class 11th and 12th, and in higher education target is 50% and current position is 26.3%.
Next, language. This is very important point of this NEP. NEP puts focus on mother tongue as medium of instruction up to grade 5. So bilingual approach for this those whose language is different from the primary medium of instruction. This NEP has suggested us to teach pupils or students in their own or mother tongue or their local language. So in this NEP, medium of instruction up to 5 grade and till the grade 8, a student can choose their mother tongue or any other Indian modern language. So I would like to tell you some other point of this. Next is common. So this NEP suggests a continuation of 3 language formula for multilingualism. This will be major effort from central and state government. I would like to tell you multilingualism means if a student is going to choose more than 2 languages, then he will be able to learn or speak or tell or know all skills of the language that will develop the multilingualism in the student. So this NEP has given us a platform for the multilingualism classes. And next is recruitment of teacher or language teacher. So this NEP has suggested us that teacher who is the language teacher will appoint from the local area who know the more basic skills or main skills of the language, will appoint as a language teacher. He will be able to dictate or even to teach their own language because he is from the local area and know very well about the local language. So he will be appointed as a language teacher. Next.
Here is one brief point about the English. Also here the local language is Hindi and their local language is Malayalam or something else. So it is very tough to adjust my child. So it is also a problem for the transferable people.
Admission. In India, all college or university take an entrance test for admission, or some colleges give admissions according to their choice class percentage. But after coming this policy, this system will be changed in common entrance examination that short form is CET, which will be held by NTA, National Testing Agency. Now after completing school, all students will be CCE, which is conducted by NTA. In NTA, one test will be held a common aptitude test, and second when a special subjects like you want to do BA, then you want to give a history paper. And this CE conducted by twice in a year, so student will take admission very easily. But here I want to inform you for some proportional course like CA, CS, PMD, which these exams will be held separately, which is already taken by.
Next, I would like to tell about the reforms of this education policy. This education policy has many reforms, but I would like to introduce some little points. Make compulsory of multilingual at university or college levels. There will be at least one university in or near the district of every state of the India. Move colleges to the autonomous. So now this NEP suggests us all colleges of India will move towards the autonomy by 2030. So this NEP has suggested us for curriculum design to ensure holistic development of the student. For pedagogy, there may be very platforms of teaching or methods of teaching provided by this NEP. Assessment, there will be teacher assessment, peer assessment, as well as self-assessment, which has suggested by NEP 2020. And governance, there will be a rule which will be light but tight. So regulation by a single regulatory body. There will be a single governing body which is Rashtriya Shiksha Ayog, or we can say that National Education Policy. The Honorable Prime Minister of India will be the chairman of this Rashtriya Shiksha Ayog, or Indian Education Minister will be vice chairman of RSA. Next.
Now we are discussing about FY2C. It means 4-year undergraduate program. Next. Now we are discussing about Academic Bank of Credit. Means what is this? Academic Bank of Credit, it means scheme is going on this NEP 2020 here. What you have to study in past, then it will be added in your total score. If you have got 1 year certificate, then you will get 10 marks. And suppose you will discontinue your study with any reason, for financial condition or for any family reason, and after some year, when you want to continue this study, then you can continue your study after 10 marks. I think this scheme is good for girls. Why I am saying like this? Because we know that in the age of 18, 19 or 20, girls will be married and they want to go their home, their husband's home. Means they left their study on the way only. But after completing their marriage or after settled, if they want to study in their susurals, then they can study.
Master of Philosophy to be STEM, BA, MA, MPhil, PhD. MPhil was a middle research degree between a master's and a PhD. Those who have entered MPhil more after than not ended their studies with a PhD degree. And MPhil degree will be totally removed out from our education system. Next. And foreign colleges will be permitted to open campus in India. It is really a good news for our Indians. And also Indian universities can set up a campus outside of India. And some of the top 100 universities will be allowed in India. So after this policy, those who want to study in the foreign colleges, they will study in our own country. It means in our India. So it is really
Now technology in education. So NEP recommends us the use of technology in education in NEP or National Education Technology Forum. This will be functioning as a securing data of central and state government, tremendous use in research as well as advanced online courses, etc. So if we talking about some more points, massive open school systems, Divyang friendly education software. So technology is very good platform to teach those are suffering from physically impaired, means listening impaired, hearing impaired, visually impaired. They will be able to learn by new ideas and new platforms to meet 21st century challenges. We have to make our students face 21st century. If we are not making them familiar with technology, they will not survive in the 21st century. So we have to make them familiar with technology. Virtual labs will be there, online assessment and examination will be there by the use of technology. Next.
Now we are discussing about teachers' recruitment. NEP says the teacher must be at the center of fundamental reforms in education system. The new education policy must help re-establish teachers at all levels like foundational, preparatory, middle and secondary of school education. And one more thing will be added here, that is interview or demonstration. Here teacher will give live demonstration how to teach in a classroom. With the help of this, we can guess how the teacher's patience and motivation here. And now this will go for all schools like public or private. There is interview will be held in a local language. And one more thing I want to share with you, teachers transfer will be less here. If we want to transfer them, then they will be transferred in their local area next.
So, current teachers will remain in the job, but they will undergo training session. All subject teachers to get NTA scores also. Para teachers and Shiksha Mitras will be removed by year 2022. And all the rules and regulations are for government and private teachers both.
Next, degree qualification. So this NEP has suggested us degree qualification for being teacher. There will be 4-year integrated B.Ed program. But who have done their graduation by BSc or BA BCom, they have to do 2-year B.Ed program. But if somebody want to become a teacher, he have to choose after 10th or 12th class 4-year B.Ed program or integrated program. Master degree will be minimum qualification for being a subject teacher. Nowadays, graduation also the subject teacher qualification, but after implementation of this NEP, there will be minimum qualification for the subject teacher, master's degree. Next.
Now, we are discussing about finance. We know that without finance, we will not do anything in anything. The current public government center or state expenditure on education in India has been around 4.43% of GDP. But this target is 6% of GDP in 2020. I want to inform you, there is no change in this finance. Because in 1968 and in 1986, same target is here. But it did not fill till now. Now we will see in this time, this policy will be fulfilled or not. Next.
New education policy have lots of many positive things, but it will be taking lots of time to cover up and to reach to the vision. We need to learn, and once the learning is stopped, discussion is stopped, everything will be, the progress and success will be stopped. So today we will see the 3 major countries and their education system, how they have reached to the success of the level, and the same thing is being mentioned in this NEP. The first is Finland. Finland mainly focus on the practical knowledge. They do not give, they says the homework giving is an outdated process. So they mainly give the practical and technical knowledge to the children. Another major country is Germany. resources invested in. Here, students, those who are not taking interest in learning books and other things, they are being sent for the vocational training, and they mainly focus to invest on the human capital. So their technology as well as smart brains are more than any other countries. The third one is Japan. Japan focuses on foundation based courses. They, from the beginning till the last, they focuses on base ethics as well as moral values. So similarly, these three things are being included in the NEP. If once we follow and we learn the things, we will reach to our vision. So to reach our vision, it's necessary to discuss as well as to learn the new things and to adopt all the things together.
Reject national education policy because it will promote child labor in our country. This imposes Hindi on entire India. This will make education more expensive. It is anti-democratic and theoretical. It also promotes centralization. Centralization is a practice where central government possesses the power rather than the state government. Well, that's not me. People on Twitter are saying it. Because this is education we are talking about. A policy that brings long overdue positive changes. Then there will be no rigid distinction in different streams. Students will decide their course themselves. There will be less rote learning and more practical learning. So what is the problem? 4 changes in our education system, and some people have a problem with it. Number 1, internships. The policy says kids between 6th to 8th grade should have a fun course. Carpenters, electricians, gardeners are important and their work is well. Our education system needs to have a place for that. Students should also get some practical knowledge. Technical skills such as coding will be taught at school level. Language period will be introduced 10 days a year where kids can learn hands-on like an intern. But some people are twisting these facts and scaring us. These people think this practical experience is actually child labor, while the fact is students will actually learn how things work in the real world and appreciate these people from vocational professions. So what is the problem? Number 2, language. Language should be a bridge and not a barrier. Your thoughts are more important. Being able to channelize them into words is more important. The language doesn't matter as much as your content. The policy says kids up to 5th standard should be taught in their mother tongue or local language. While some people think it is going to saffronize India, the fact is that in this entire document, the word Hindi comes only once, and that too as an example and not as a medium of instruction or teaching. In fact, the policy appreciates our multilingual culture. It recognizes the importance of local language. UNESCO says 197 languages in India are endangered. In the last 50 years, we have lost 220 languages already. As the language dies, the ancient knowledge dies as well. 85% of the brain development starts when the kids turn 6. So they should be taught multiple languages from an early age. So what is the problem? Number 3, higher education. Indian universities can set up campus outside India. Plus, some of top 100 universities will be allowed in India. From top 100, only a few universities will get the permission. Laws will come in place and only then they will operate in India. In 2018, more than 750,000 students moved abroad. They prefer taking higher education from abroad. And this causes a major brain drain in India. Our best students go abroad, pay a lot of money, and as a result, Indian talent goes out of India. The policy accepts this flaw in our system and wants to act on it. But some people think this will make education unaffordable. In fact, to avoid commercialization of education, the policy talks about setting fee limits for different courses. Staying in foreign universities will just be an option. It is always good to have a healthy competition for the consumers. So what is the problem? Number 4, multiple exit options. Today, due to any reasons, if you drop out before completing your full course, then you are considered as a complete failure. But not anymore, because now you have multiple exit options. So now if you drop out, after completing your 1 year, you will get a certificate. After 2 years, you will get a diploma. And the reason isn't to encourage the dropout. The reason is that today, due to your responsibilities, if you can't complete your education, then also you should get the credit for the course that you have completed so far. For that, there is an academic bank of credit. which means अब आप 1 को भी नहीं parts में भी अपनी education को complete कर सकते हैं. So what is the problem? Rather than what the policy says, WHO is making it matters who will take the credit for it, and that is what these people care about more. And then to push their own political agenda, such hashtags like reject NEP start trending, and this is very dangerous for the country because जिनको इसके बारे में knowledge नहीं उन्हें misguide करते हैं. How this policy is implemented will determine its success and the vision that NEP has set. If there is a hole in your boat, you fix the hole, you don't sink the boat. At last, what can we do? I always believe, criticize, but first analyze.
Start.
This policy gives freedom for our students,
and we need to support the progress and changes of the policy.
it will take 34 years to be on paper and it takes some time to be a reality.
And India has a long way to go, but we need to start.
But we need to break the prison of negativity because the world is full of opportunity. So it's a time for us to fly. The flaws in the policy need to be addressed.
So thank you dear sisters and teachers for joining us in the discussion of this new education policy. And my last words are support the change and be ready with a new hope.
Jai Hind. Thank you.